Hey everybody, so I am not diagnosed with a label. I never was, never had the uh, opportunity, I guess you could say, to have that. It's a word that's popping into my mind. What I can say is that through working with clients, a large number of them are labeled with different things: autism, ADHD, ADD, all these labels for what people now call neurodivergence and all this other stuff. It's just more labels upon labels upon labels. First of all, you don't need the label. You just need to understand how you operate. And none of us fit a cookie cutter mold of how to operate. That's one of the things I understand with this journey. The other thing I understand is that when I was a child, had I not gone through the abuse, had I not gone through the traumas and created solitude in my room. Uh, my my family even says like you just hid in your room a lot even to this day. And creating that solitude, people didn't notice that I had certain things because when I was around my parents, I was in such a fear state that I controlled everything. I controlled my fidgeting and my moving. I controlled my energy. I controlled everything that happened. I had a friend I was talking to who I was like, she's so I'm again I'm not a psychologist. This is just my experience. It's not medical advice, anything, but she's in that industry. And I asked her one time, I had said, like back in the day, I would have been diagnosed as ADHD, and it's like I can get through it now. She's like, no, 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 you didn't heal it, you didn't get through it, you suppressed who you naturally were. And I went, oh yeah, that's who I naturally am energetically. So a lot of the things clients say when they come to me resonate because I'm like, I do that. And then I find out they've been diagnosed with one of these labels. And one of the ones is um, about energy and cleaning and material goods, and how I see a lot of people labeled ADHD have problems with, they collect stuff, they bring material items in, they surround themselves with things and then they put it to the side and it gets stored and never dealt with, and the rooms become a mess and all this other stuff. So you have these things of these stories of people having like a room that's dedicated to the mess and it's just stuff everywhere, or having trouble cleaning things because of the lack of focus and all that. And I have the hyper focus thing and all that. I have my best friend always tells me, she's like, you're in hyper focus, I can't even talk to you right now, type of thing. And I'm like, yeah, I've got to get when it turns on, boom, got to get it done. When it's off, I'm distracted. You can see me in reels half the time. I'm like, oh, there's a bird and all that. And part of that is channeling too, constantly being in a channeled state, higher energy state, that our energy is all over the place. And I'm constantly moving and fidgeting. Like I'm usually got pens and I'm clicking them or moving my fingers, and people will be like, are you okay? And I'm like, yes, I'm okay, but I have to move energy. I need to do something. I can't just sit still. Uh, Even if I'm watching TV, I can't always sit still. I have to be eating something or doing something while I'm doing that. And but I can hyper focus on the television show. That's the thing. I can hyper focus on my work. I can hyper focus on different things. But the point of this isn't about that. It's just to describe that some of the things that I've gone through. But one of the things that I find interesting that I learned and realized was, as I've gone on this journey and done everything by myself for the most part, I've learned how to get out of these spaces on my own without knowing I was doing what helps other people get out of those spaces. Because again, I wasn't diagnosed. I didn't have people telling me I had it or to do X, Y, Z. I intuitively started doing things. One of the things I intuitively learned to do was getting rid of everything. The reason that we have a mess of stuff And I was this way. I had collections of things. I had comic books, I had toys, I had regular books, I had figurines, crystals, all this stuff all over the place, piles on my shelves. My shelves would just look like a mess. And I would try to make them look clean and everything. They look like a mess. Stuff might pile up on the floors, all this. But over the years, what happened is that as I learned to work more with my energy and became more authentic, I started realizing this stuff has an energetic influence on my world and my reality. There's an energetic influence when you have physical things around you. So when you have physical things around you, it pulls our focus. It pulls our focus to that physical thing. It pulls our energy to that. It creates chaos. It creates chaotic energy. It creates stagnant energy. Two things that people with the labels struggle with. They have bouts of chaos and high energy and bouts of stagnation and nothing. Part of this, in my feeling and experience, based on what I've gone through, is when you get rid of the stuff, the it's so much easier, so much easier. And I understand there are struggles getting rid of this stuff. I've had those, and I have a friend who's been describing ADHD routines to me, and I'm like, that's what I do. I didn't know that was a routine. Like picking a corner and going clockwise and just focusing on the room, or putting things into piles that, this is a keep pile, this is a for later pile, this is a trash pile, and then slowly weeding down, and all these different things that are techniques for them. And I'm like, those are things I just naturally would do. But one of the things overall, that the messaging, no matter how you do it, if you have a lot of stuff and you struggle with cleaning up your house, you struggle with cleaning up your office, your room, all that, look around and ask yourself, do you really need it? Now, put emotion to the side. Put the idea of I'll use that aside. That's a big one. Get rid of that. Throw that out the window. Never say, well, I'll use it, because you won't. But I've learned that lesson over and over. And what I started saying when I was living in my apartment, or I think before that, I started saying, as I went through stuff, will I use this? Well, first of all, have I used this within the last year? And will I use it within a year? And do I know that for sure? So when I say, have I used it in the last year? If the answer is no, it goes out the door, goes to the trash, goes to donation, goes to wherever. If I think about it and I go, oh, wait, I'm going to need this for a project within this year, okay, I might keep it. But typically, it's like, well, I might use it in the next year. If it's I might, goes out the door. I can always get a new one if I really need it. And what I found out is that I got rid of all my kitchen stuff. I got rid of all my books, all my comics, all my toys, all the extra stuff, and realized that even when I moved into my car and put stuff in storage, I was like, there's even more stuff. Even though I whittled down to almost nothing at a minimal apartment, it's like there's even more stuff I could get rid of because I didn't end up using XYZ. But getting rid of that energy is the most freeing thing you can do. And I'm not saying to go throw everything out or anything like that. I'm saying take a look around you. Ask yourself, what do you truly need? I can go into most people's kitchens and they have so much junk, so many extra spoons, so many extra devices, so many extra things to cook with. You can cook and make almost everything you need with like one or two pans, a simple set of knives, a simple set of utility items, and forks and that. I learned that because I started cooking that way. I got rid of all the devices. I got rid of all the kitchen gadgets, everything. It made it so much freer. The energy's so clean, so clear in the kitchen, so easy, so non-distractive, not non-distracting, which is what our brains need, are like non-distracting things, clean spaces, easy to clean spaces, clutter not everywhere. So think about that on your journey. Do you have too much? And is it something you can get rid of? Because you'll get rid of energy and shift the energy in your home. and your mind. Love you all.